Hey everyone, it's Clarissa, also known as bunnesimmer, and today we are renovating Pinecrest apartment number 404. This is one of 4 apartments that came in the world Evergreen Harbor, which was the world that came with the Eco Lifestyle expansion pack, and they are my favorite apartments that we have in the game, hands down. City Living, it came with some good things, but the size of the apartments in that expansion pack are honestly atrocious. They are way too big and they just don't really meet what I consider like city living, in my opinion. Like, I think that there should be a few penthouses. It's a great place for your celebrity sims to live if you get famous or if you have a business mogul or something like that. I totally get wanting to have really big, elaborate, bougie apartments. But for the most part, like, your average sim is not going to be living in a 2-floor, huge, expansive apartment. And so when I want to play in apartments, I typically play in the ones that came with Eco Lifestyle. I really enjoy the size of the apartment. And I also really like some of the gameplay that comes tied to them. If you didn't know, in Eco Lifestyle, there is something called Neighborhood Action Plans, or NAPs, and they are things that your Sims can vote on weekly that will change either the gameplay or the look and feel of the neighborhood that you're playing in. And what's cool is the Neighborhood Action Plans are not restricted just to the Eco Lifestyle world. They can be used in any of the neighborhoods in any of the worlds that you have in the game, though there are a few that are restricted just to Eco Lifestyle. The Eco Lifestyle world, Evergreen Harbor. So some of the neighborhood action plans are like the juiced community one, which means everybody in your neighborhood is going to walk around completely dazed. There are also one like back to the good times, which you'll get fined for using your computer. There's others that are more like eco-focused, such as the power and water conservation. So there's a pretty wide span of what the neighborhood action plans are, and your Sims vote on them, like I said, weekly using influence points that they get from either following plans that have already been put into place or by introducing themselves to new Sims and things like that. So they're really kind of cool. My favorite neighborhood action plan items, though, are ones that are restricted to Evergreen Harbor, and it's the Modern Development Neighborhood Action Plan. It is probably by far one of the coolest things I think they've done in The Sims 4. And what it is if your Sims vote and the community decides to enact it, it will change what the world looks like or that neighborhood looks like. So this building that we're building in right now started off as like really white and sterile and clinical on the outside, but with the modern development which we enacted, it made the outside like they added this wooden slating to the outside, this really earthy vibe. You can see kind of some of the greenery that's been added. The roof on this building is now green, and it changes not only this apartment building, but also all of the buildings within view from it to create this like full like community support of like this modern development, which I think is really cool. I like that you have the option of like 2 different versions to be able to play in. I typically, though, always modernize the neighborhoods in Eco Lifestyle just because they look completely different than anything else that we have available in the game. I think that the houses and the apartments to some extent are something that you could get away with putting in Willow Creek or especially Newcrest. And so I like the option and the variety of having these modern buildings instead because you just don't really see them anywhere else, and I don't think they would fit in a lot of the other worlds that we have. So I always enjoy modernizing them. If you want to do it but don't want to have to go through the gameplay route, it's really easy. All you have to do is open the cheat bar on your game by hitting Control-Shift-C, then type in testing cheats on, and then close the bar, hitting Control-Shift-C again. And then you just right click on your mailbox, and that way you can either instantly enact or instantly repeal any of the neighborhood action plans that have been put into your game. Like I said, the water and power conservation one drive me absolutely insane because they typically always pop up in my 100 baby challenge, and I'm not going to deal with no water or power when I have 5 screaming toddlers. I'm just not going to do it. So it's a good way to pretty quickly change anything you want to change with the neighborhood action plans. So anyway, this apartment I am building, I envision 2 Sims living here, both of them being sisters. I imagine the older sister probably just turned from a teenager to a young adult, and she's living here as the guardian of her younger sister who is still a child. I'm not sure what happened to their parents. Maybe they were eaten by cow plants, or maybe one of them died from dumpster diving. I'm not really sure, but I imagine that this is like she just turned from a teenager, and the thing that she wanted to do was make sure that she had just a real home for her sister to live in. I imagine that like her life goal, the older sister, was to go away to college and to secure like her dream job in the tech field. And instead of doing that, she took all the money she saved for tuition to rent this apartment for her sister. And in order to make ends meet, like she's still out there programming on the side and entering gaming tournaments on the weekend when she has time. But hopefully one day she'll be able to go away to school or still secure her dream job, just like working up through the corporate ladder. And I think her younger sister absolutely adores her. I think that they were probably best friends before they ended up in this situation. Like she always looked up to her sister. Right now, she's also really into gaming because she knows that it brings her sister so much joy. So I even put her own little computer in her bedroom. I think that they were like the best of friends before this situation happened. And the older sister is really just trying to figure out how to step into the role as guardian too. That, you know, like they've always been close, but now she has to be not only her sister, but also her guardian. I may possibly have thought about this story too long. I'm going to have to create these Sims. So now I'm jumping into the children's room. Most of the walls I leave pretty neutral, like it's a rented apartment. But in the child's room, I really wanted to do this chalk wall in it. There are these little decals that we have from so many of the packs that I never know how to use. And these 2 specifically, the moon from Werewolves and this little adorable unicorn from base game, I thought looked like chalk drawings. So I thought it'd be really cute behind this bed. I think they're so cute. And it was just a new way to kind of stylize a room. And here I am just putting a little stuffed animal on the end of the bed. The bed is still totally usable, but I think it adds just a little more personality. And like I said, I am going to put in a computer in here. Maybe she wants to grow up to be a gamer like her sister. And so I put in the tablet looking computer that came from the Pastel Pop Kit. I thought it was really cute for a little kid. And it's also live draggable, which means that when you are playing, you don't have to go in build mode, but you can put it in your Sims inventory so that they can take it to different lots. I also do not put a toy box in here. There are toys that I scattered in the living room around the dollhouse, and then I put a couple around the cat version of Blarfy because I really wanted to use the Void Critter gaming thing. I never use that in any of my builds because of the size. And so I figured there were plenty of toys that you don't necessarily need a toy box, but I wanted to fit that in. And I also put like the Void Critter poster behind the bed. Like maybe that's the game that she's into and her sister is into, like The Sims Forever and other games. So there's a lot of nods to gaming throughout the apartment, not only from the technology, but also from like the posters and decorations that I put up on the wall. Most of the apartment is really bright. I imagine the older sister let her younger sister help her pick out how the house was going to look, just to help it make it feel more homey, like she got a choice in how it looks. And so the older sister's room is a little more muted compared to her younger sister's. I thought that just helped kind of reinforce the story that I had going on. But I did not come to that conclusion of a muted bedroom right away. I was like, do both sisters like super bright colors or what? So it took me a long time to decide what I wanted the older sister's room to look like. At first, I was thinking these bright geometric shapes, which I still think totally could have been pulled off in here, but I was having trouble finding what dresser I wanted to go with this bed from City Living. And then I also wanted to make sure that I had room for her computer, right? Like if she's a gamer, or a programmer, she would definitely have her own computer beyond the little tablet that's in her sister's room. So I needed to find a way to fit that. And so I play around with the floor plan in here, or the layout of this bedroom, a lot. Eventually, I am going to put the bed in front of the window, which is not my favorite thing to do, but I had the computer there, which also didn't seem very realistic. And also, Sims can be really, really smart, or they can be really, really dumb. And I was just worried that there might be routing issues. Your sim might get stuck on the other side once they got on their computer. So I just decided to kind of rearrange the room a bit, and then I also tone it down. Though I do think this like tealish green color does work in here. So I mean, either way works, but I think I preferred the more muted version for the older sister. But I do pop in the gaming computer that came from high school years, and I'm about to realize that I don't like the layout, so I'm gonna mute all the furniture to this white or creamier color, and then the walls are still going to be that same blue that you see throughout the apartment. And like I said, I just think the floor plan looked a little better. I also think the sister's room would be pretty relaxed if she is streaming or taking like side jobs where she has to Zoom her client or whatever. I mean, she's going to be doing that from her room, so I thought she might want it to be a little more organized and a little more muted if people from the outside world are going to be seeing what her bedroom looks like. I mean, my room changed a lot when I started working from home, because I not live streamed, but I Zoomed from my room and stuff like that. So, yeah, so I just thought this would look better. I don't know. So we're about to finish up the apartment. I'm just going to put a couple of decorations in the hallway. If you would like to download it, I will have it available on the gallery under my ID Bunny Simmer. And if you like this video and want to see more, please feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys all soon. Thank you so much for watching.